Check, check. I'll be coming live to you here in about 2.5, 3 minutes. Thanks for jumping in today. Appreciate it very much. See you on the radio here in just a moment.
This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now in the CZ Studios. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here on the Patriot Mobile Command Center microphone. Greg in Dallas, Texas. How the heck are you today?
Here we are. It's Monday. A little tired, but, it is what it is.
Came quick. Always does. Hold on a second before we get started. Let me take a sip
got
of
to
this.
take that obligatory drink.
Guess which one it is today? Is it blackout
Celsius.
coffee? Is it Celsius, or is it a sugar-free Red Bull?
Okay, so we've got a trio here. You know what? I think it's going to be a Red Bull.
It's a sugar-free Red Bull. Good for you. All right, there you go.
How
Greg's
about that?
cheating because he saw the test videos before we went live today. So
I didn't see nothing.
tell me that right when I take a sip of that. The blackout coffee. Yeah, I was about to chug it up. Blackout coffee got me cranking this morning, man. Good heavens. Man, I actually got a lot of sleep last night, which is unusual on a Sunday. So, guys, if you want to watch the stream, you can catch us live on Facebook.com/Armed American Radio, Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Greg, I'll let you take it away, and then we'll go to our guest, Andy Hooser, the voice of Liaison.
Yeah, you can also see us on YouTube. Just search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. You can see us over on armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon and select your watch live or listen live option. And if you'd like to join our live chat, all you have to do is download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, that will do it. And you can also chat in any of those forums out there, and they will show up here so we can see that. If you got a good comment, let us know. And I want to thank Cam Edwards. I did an episode of Cam and Company today. And that's up now. We know Minneapolis. We got started today. We said no Minneapolis, no Virginia. We're sick of that. So we talked about Hawaii.
All right.
Wow, what a mess. And that requires a little bit of research. He said, I intentionally didn't want to talk with you about this because there's so much going on. I want to get your spontaneous reaction. And boy, did he. I won't go. There are 3 bills that are being heard in Hawaii today, all 3 designed to screw you out of your rights. And it's a trifecta of infringement. And I won't go into all those details. I've got to do a little bit more research and haven't had a chance to read all 3 of those bills, but we can touch on it briefly with Andy coming up here in the hour. Suffice to say, if you want to see that interview with Cam, and it was a good one at Cam and Company, you can check it out at bearingarms.com or Town Hall. It's up all over the place. All right, let's go to Andy Hooser, the voice of Liaison, Andy Hooser, the voice of Liaison.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Heck
Let me
yeah.
get your mug
What's
up.
Happy Monday, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's the temperature in Wichita, Kansas on a Monday?
It is mid-40s today, so I guess that's about where we're at. See, here's the thing with Kansas, and this is why it's so frustrating and why I take in as much as I can with the extreme cold weather, is because we get about 2 weeks, either end of January, beginning of February, we get about the 2 weeks of the single digits, wind chill in the negatives. And then the rest of the wintertime, it's like this. It's 40, 50 degrees the entire time. And I never truly get a long-term good winter. So I enjoyed what I could. And this is probably about what it's going to be for the next couple months.
Greg, this is one of these guys that you heard him. I never get a good long-term winter. He just said that.
Yeah, he did.
This is a guy that will, in April, spring break, he'll take his kids skiing after a long, hard winter instead of going to the beach.
Spring skiing is amazing, man. I tell you what, when it's a little bit warmer and the snow is just a little bit melting, you can cruise down those hills, man. So yes, actually that is the plan. By February, March-ish, I'm taking the kiddo. She's never been snowboarding, by the way. So we're going back to Colorado. I got to teach her how to snowboard because that is not okay for a Hoosier to not know how to snowboard down that mountain.
Just avoid the trees.
Has the little mini voice of reason ever been to Panama City Beach?
She's never been to Panama City Beach. That'll come.
Has she ever been to Orange Beach, Alabama?
Destin.
Now, she does want to see the ocean.
Okay, hold it. So that means little voice of reason has not seen the ocean yet.
She has not seen the ocean yet. That is another one.
Okay,
but
you go ahead and take her spring skiing, and don't let her see the ocean.
That's right.
Well, take her to Florida so you can cover the ocean and the Gulf in the same trip.
Yeah, no, but I mean mountains with ski resorts on them. We need it snowy. We need it, nice and cold. We need to go down the mountain and slide down. It's going to be fantastic.
Okay, so speaking of Florida, we're going to have some fun with this. I had not intended to do this until I just mentioned Panama City, but Ryan Petty, Parkland father Ryan Petty, is a guest on the show regularly. And Greg, as you know, he joins us in the roundtable every single Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. He texted the group chat. I have a group chat with him, Brad Primo, and Justin Moon, where we get together and talk about some things we might want to hit on in the roundtable. And this morning, early, he sent me 2 text messages, one to the group. And guys, I got to tell you about this one because it was hilarious. Did you see the story, Andy, of the iguanas in Florida? Now, you know what happens to iguanas in Florida, right? In cold weather?
No. I mean, I know they lose their tails if they're grabbed or something, but that's about it.
Oh, no, we're talking big ones. We're talking about the ones that are like 5 feet. I mean, giant iguanas, 4 or 5 feet long. Monsters.
Kimono dragon size.
You know, and they're all over. Okay. They're all over Florida. And what's interesting is I spent 20 plus years in Florida, and I don't recall seeing them during that time. They're an invasive species.
Well, that's good because I probably wouldn't live there.
Okay, well, alligators too, but alligators eat iguanas. But these things are fairly big. I spent a couple weeks in July and October down in Key West. I took my daughter down in July and took my son back last year in October. And they're everywhere now. And I didn't used to see that all the time. You'd see the little chameleons, the little lizards. They change colors, and you step on them, their tails go away. You try to catch them, that kind of stuff. I had a friend that used to put one up his nose and then bring it out his mouth. It was unbelievable. It was the craziest, weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. His name was John. I won't give his last name, but he would grab those things. I mean, trying to grab one of those things like trying to grab a fly.
John, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, he would put that thing up his nose and pull it out. I swear to goodness, honest to God, truth. It used to freak us out when he did it. But no, you're not doing these with these iguanas. These things are nasty. Yeah, but they're cold-blooded. So when the temperature gets very cold to certain temperatures, they freeze and fall out of trees in the cold weather. Yeah, awesome. And they've had enough cold streak in Florida over the last several days that there's no bringing them back. So Governor DeSantis 2 days ago signed an executive order that you can bring them when they fall out of the trees to these monitor collection sites in various towns. And people are bringing them in by the wheelbarrow. They're falling down out of their palm trees and stuff, pools, all kinds of stuff. They fall on the screens. And there are photographs. He sent this story. He goes, this is how we do cold in Florida. And it was hilarious. Well, I start looking at some of the tweets down below and some of the comments. And this guy, Little Fat Tony, in a tweet, says, dude, and here's what he says. Does any of these idiots, it's do any of these idiots, but we'll go there in a second. Does any of these idiots realize that the iguanas are not dead? They're frozen. When the weather warms up, they thaw out and are alive. DeSantis is an idiot leading other idiots. Now, let's just go here first. So I went and looked at his bio before I artfully responded to this clown, because I had to go there at 6 o'clock this morning. I just could not help myself. I looked at him. He's from Michigan. Blue wave icon. Vote Dem. No maggots. Living in Orlando. Here's my response to this idiot. Like you, in capital letters, being in Florida, the iguana is an invasive species, introduced somewhere it doesn't belong, adversely affecting its new habitat and bioregions, causing ecological, environmental, and economic damage. Think of yourself as the iguana. Also, when calling others idiots, please make sure you're grammatically correct. Otherwise, you look like an, idiot. Andy.
Great.
Remember Nazi Mark came out?
Early morning Mark came out, right? Angry Mark. I don't like to wake up. I don't even turn on Fox. I could not help myself with that response. Now, little fat boy Tony, I guess, didn't have the guts to respond. Tony. He responded to everybody else's posts on there. He didn't respond to mine, but he pretty much couldn't. But it's still up there. But it was kind of fun. I had fun with that. But the point that I'm making is these bleeding hearts feel bad for iguanas when they don't know anything about iguanas.
30.
They die.
Right.
When they've had 3 or 4 days, they're dead. So what do? They take them to these are an invasive species that are destroying a lot of the, causing a lot of ecological and environmental damage in the state of Florida. But the bleeding hearts, that was just, save the iguana, save the iguana. So I can just picture him now walking through the streets. No DeSantis, save the iguana. No DeSantis, save the iguana. This is the mentality we're dealing with, Andy. These are, it went to University of Michigan. And I said, and now you're in Orlando. Go home. You're an invasive species. Trust me. But I thought that was a little bit ironic from a guy who didn't know as well. From a hole in the ground. Andy Hooser, the voice of reason, rejoins us. It's Fun Day. We call it Fun Day. It's Monday with Andy Hooser. We'll be back with Andy. 3 more segments to go. Don't go away.
following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make up what we're going to talk about next. Andy Hooser, the voice of reason, joins us. Andy, welcome back to the program. CZ Studios are fired up for you, my brother from another mother. Welcome back, Andy.
Buddy. And by the way, Mark, I got to say, first off, thank you for filling in for my show this past weekend.
That was
too.
fun.
That was, I know you have, have a good time kind of stepping away from just the 2A issues, and obviously plenty of things going on.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. We had a really good time. I'll do that for you anytime you need me, brother. It's pretty much that simple.
It was a blast.
How do you know?
Yeah.
You weren't there.
Well, I got to listen to it still. And by the way, for those that are looking for the podcast, I will get the podcast up. I promise. I hadn't had a chance.
It's still
yet,
not up.
That'll be going up. No, it'll go up this afternoon.
Oh, you should have asked me. I already had the tapes. I could have put it up for you minutes after the show ended. I'm just saying, if you need me to do that next time, just let me know. You know, we do come out of the same network, and I grab the same show. So, anyway, what I'm getting. Did you want to comment on the iguana idiot? And by the way, remember in that text message or in that tweet, that guy said Ron DeSantis is an idiot leading idiots. Well, he lives in Florida. Is he one of the idiots? Because DeSantis is leading him. It's his governor.
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's one of those to where everything that the Democrats accuse us of is a deflection of what they need to look at themselves in the mirror for. So it's just it goes right in line every time they call us a Nazi, a fascist, a whatever. I mean, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. We need a little bit of self-reflection in society, and right now that's I think where the Democrat Party is. And for some reason, people continue to just go along and buy it.
I guess. I don't know. Well, wait till you hear this one. This one's whew. I don't really know what to make of this. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. This is a New York Post piece from today. Hospital evacuated after 8-inch World War I artillery shell discovered in patient's, well, it says butt. Yeah. The first line,
Okay.
He had some explosive indigestion. Now, there's a lot of hows and whys to this, okay? And there's a photograph of the shell, as if I needed to see the shell. But the New York Post held nothing back on this. A hospital in France was evacuated after a male patient arrived with a World War I artillery shell lodged in his backside, according to the Bumshell report.
Bumshell.
Yeah, it's Bumshell.
Got to give the hat tip to the writer on this.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
You guys carry this for a second, would you please?
Well done. Look, I mean, we don't get to give credit to writers very often, but well done on that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm so glad this guy doesn't have a name that's reflective of the story we're talking about. You know, like when Joe Burglar gets arrested for breaking into somebody's house or something like that. Those always crack me up. Yeah, this guy's name is Ben Cost. Ben Cost. So congratulations. It was published today, 11:52 a.m.
Last name should have been Dover.
No,
Would have fit perfect.
He's done.
I gotta
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I gotta be FCC friendly here. All right. Well, all right. Let's see what happened here. Let's see.
Was it still covered in mud? Is my question.
Oh, God, Greg, just mute your mic. I don't recall saying I need your help in here.
Oh well, you
okay.
gotta get it.
You know what's FCC friendly, but anyway, this guy keistered an artillery shell.
Somewhere there's a nurse that's saying that's not the only strange thing you see people keister.
Guys, you got to watch prison documentaries to know what I'm talking about here, and I'm a big fan. The poor fellow was in, quote, a state of extreme discomfort having inserted a large object. A World War I artillery shell. And, it says this unexploded World War I shell is similar to the one found lodged in the patient's, whatever. Surgeons conducted emergency surgery during which and I'm reading, it's the first time I've gone through this thing line by line, which they discovered the shocking source of his pain, a live 8-inch bombshell from 1918 that was lodged inside. Now, did he not know it? Does he go in and say,
what does this do?
My stomach hurts? Do you not know why? How does this happen?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Hold it. We got to go back to Ben Cost, the writing. Fearing a potential fire in the hole and hospital, medical personnel alerted the bomb squad and fire brigade evacuated the facility. Oh, no, Ben Cost is on fire.
This guy
I'm a
is-
fan of this guy.
Babylon B is going to be reaching out to this guy for his puns.
This is gotta be, I was just going to say, is this a Babylon Bee
No,
story?
it's a New York Post piece. I'm looking right at it.
He's a human mortar.
Meanwhile, a security perimeter was formed around the medical center as the authorities investigated the explosive situation. Oh, you
Definitely
cannot.
explosive.
Wow.
Pulled out all
Fortunately,
the stops here.
Fortunately, the retro munition was also pointed and over an inch wide, was not deemed a threat. The bomb disposal experts took the shell with them while the patient, a French national, remained at the hospital so he could recover from surgery. It's unclear how the antique ordnance ended up there. Well, it can't. How unclear could it be?
I mean, there's only one way.
They think it might have been. The combustible could have been the result of a party stunt gone awry. Now, I have been to a lot of parties in my lifetime.
It's France.
What kind
Well,
of
that's what I'm saying. If
drugs
that's-
are they doing?
If that's the kind of party they're having, I mean, there's a niche for that, I guess. I don't know. That's a part, like you said, that's not a party I've ever been to, nor that I know that I would want to go to.
When you break out the old munitions and start doing party favors with them, I'm going to leave the house because I don't want to be part of the demolition.
Who would egg that on?
Oh, trust me.
Well, yeah, okay.
I mean,
I could see crazy stuff in college. You see what he's going to do over there? I mean, that'd be like John. He's going to put a lizard up his nose and bring it out his mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, he's going to take that bomb. Yeah. Well,
But how do you go to the doctor and say,
I don't
have a
feel good."
situation?
Yeah,
Like, how do you
have a
explain that to the
situation.
doctor? Be like, you see, I have a situation and I need to figure this out. I don't know how you present that to the doctor.
Last I
guess-
checked, P. Diddy was in jail.
I guess at that point, you just come clean. You just walk in and say, hey,
Well, it's not clean, but I mean,
Definitely not clean.
you blame it on something else. I did a lot of drugs. I passed out, and
tripped.
somebody did this to me. I don't know. I don't know how you do it.
Missed the chair.
I mean, well,
that's
they're considering prosecuting him for handling Category A munitions. They were
Is it one of those where, like, I found this in the old war chest of my great grandfather who was in the war? And
Okay, well, all right.
I'm
You know,
gonna-
look, I have some really cool stuff. I've got a bag of bloody sand from Pacific fighting in the beaches. I've got a helmet. I've never thought, hey,
I know where I
wonder
can
what I
find
can do with that. Because my dad brought it over. He says, I'd rather you guys keep it here at the house, you know, since we moved into the smaller place. I'm like, I know just where to keep that, Dad. Thanks for bringing that over. Wow. And guys, you can't make this stuff up. But I guarantee if he lived in the U.S., I know who he's voting for. It ain't Trump. We'll be right back. Good heavens. I don't know. Guys, you can't make it up.
following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Patriot mobile phone here in my hands in the studio, and I mentioned last night on the Monster Cast that I'm getting ready to add a new phone because, well, I mean, I can because this one's paid for, and I'm going to upgrade this to one of the I think I'm going to get the iPhone Air one, the thinner one, because I hate carrying these things around with me, and my nephew's got one. It's kind of nice. So I might make that move. But either way, patriotmobile.com/AAR. Take advantage of it. patriotmobile.com/AAR. Get a great deal over there. A free month of service when you use that promo code at AAR, and you support the businesses that support everything we stand for and everything we talk about. And they wear it right on their sleeves, just like I do here, where I've got the Second Amendment tattooed right on my arm. All right? It's tattooed all over their website. It's tattooed into their corporate mission. They are the real deal. Please support them. patriotmobile.com/AAR. You can find them and all of our great partners, including budsgunshop.com. Our exclusive online retailer is available for you at Armed American Radio. Crossbreed Holsters is over there. Patriots Relief is there. Guys, I use that stuff every single morning, and it works. It just flat out works. It works for me, and I see that a lot of you have tried it. I hope you enjoy it like I do. I got a whole bunch of that stuff, and I did not want to run out again, so I put a big order in. But it's patriotsrelief.com, patriotsrelief.com. Make sure to check them out. And we'll talk about some more of our partners coming up after the next segment or so. Andy Hooser, the voice of reason from KQAM, Wichita's Big Talker, Wichita's favorite son, joins us again. We've got 2 more segments with you, Andy. Fun show so far. Thanks. Always love a Monday.
Yeah, it's a great way to start off a Monday.
Yeah, you can tell when show prep's not going good during the day, right? Or I get a little bit busy. When I saw these stories, I thought these are just too fun. I can't pass these up. And, you know, why not? It's Monday. What can I tell you? You okay with that?
Well, look, I mean, this is where society's at today. My generation, and I apologize for my generation all the time, we started the Tide Pod eating challenge. We started the condom snorting challenge. We started a whole bunch of really dumb stuff on social media. The next generation took it a bit farther beyond us, but we kind of started that trend with the millennials, and apparently, you know, I remember, if you remember the show House MD, Dr. House with Hugh Laurie was great. He had a couple fun episodes of, you know, the surprising things they would see in the emergency rooms or in the walk-in clinics where they would find people had done interesting things to themselves. And these stories fall right in line with that. But you sometimes wonder, was that just TV or do these really kind of happen?
No, they happen. They happen.
They happen.
People are, I don't know, what are people? You got to wonder what's going through a guy's head. Hey, I'll try that. Or, you know, put your French accent. I'll try that. I'll try that. Gives that bomb to me. I'll try that. I bet I can make that work. What do I get if I do it?
You know, I mean,
you get a trip to the doctor and a big embarrassment. And some radio host in America is going to be talking about you because you're a fool.
He clearly didn't sit down too hard.
Greg, I need you to just sit down over there. And
he's got him coming.
Oh, man. All right, so far we've covered frozen iguanas, keistered bombs. What's left? Cue the music.
Left? I mean, that's as far as you can go for a Monday. That's for sure.
As far as you can go from it. Fun day. This show is okay.
Stretching the topic coverage on this Monday.
Yeah, we definitely are. I don't think I have anything else along those lines over here. I mean, I'm sure I could find them somewhere. But now, Andy, let's talk about Cuba for a second. Greg and I were just talking about that. Did you happen to see the story of the sanctioned Russian jet flying into Cuba under identical situation and circumstances prior to Maduro's taking by the U.S.?
I did. I hadn't heard about the circumstances. I did hear about the Russian flight coming in, but that was about the extent that I knew.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make the correlation here. The headline is this: sanctioned Russian jet touches down in Cuba, echoing secret flights before Maduro's ouster. Sanctioned Ilyushin 276 follows same flight pattern seen before Maduro's capture in Venezuela. Now, the plane landed in Cuba with U.S. permission. Russian cargo plane typically used to transfer military equipment landed at a military airfield in Havana Sunday night, echoing flight patterns seen ahead of the capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. The U.S.-sanctioned Ilyushin 76, operated by Russian state-linked airline Avicon Zytotrans, was tracked landing at San Antonio de los Baños Airfield, a Cuban military installation roughly 30 miles south of Havana, according to public flight data. Let's see, so it stopped in Russia, Africa, Dominican, and then it went on to Cuba. Same aircraft conducted flights to Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba in late October 2025 as tensions between Washington and Caracas escalated. That movement preceded U.S. military action in Venezuela that ultimately ended Maduro's rule. A sequence U.S. officials and analysts have since pointed to as a warning indicator when evaluating similar Russian aviation activity in the region. Now, I'm trying to put the correlation to there. Andy, can you help me with that? Some of this there's a disconnect here that I'm not understanding.
Yeah, I don't know about the same patterns between that and Venezuela, because here's the thing. I didn't even know that Russia was doing a same flight pattern to Venezuela. I had heard about China. In fact, there was a Chinese diplomat in Venezuela the day of the raid that happened that night. So just prior to Maduro actually being arrested, that China was there with a diplomat. I was not aware of any type of Russian flight, although it makes sense because that whole area really had been taken by China and by Russia for a while, which is why our U.S. oil companies were not able to be part of that area. Mm-hmm. And, they had been, they had used Cuba, they had used Venezuela, they had used those areas for a while now to try and infiltrate our part of the hemisphere. So it makes sense, but I had not heard about the flight patterns from Russian military flights going onto those military bases. I had known about the Chinese diplomat that was there trying to work with Maduro before we came in and then ended up taking him. So, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless, this is a sign that I sense a little bit of desperation from China. I sense a little bit of desperation from Russia as well, because that was their kind of how we have our finger on the pulse in the Middle East because of our partnership with Israel, and how we can actually have some stuff there because of our friends with Israel and being able to oversee and be very close to respond to anything that needs to in the Middle East. Right now, Cuba, Venezuela, some of these nations, that's what that is for China and Russia, to keep an eye on us in our own hemisphere. So if that's what they're doing, then it makes sense why Trump is responding the way he is about potentially going into Cuba, the way that we arrested Maduro for being a drug lord and so on and so forth. And
I don't know that we can do that.
As the head.
What's the Cuban president's name? Miguel? Was it Canel? I don't know the Spanish pronunciation of his name. It's somewhere around.
Canales.
He's a commie. But Trump said this, and he did confirm on Sunday, yesterday, that the U.S. is engaged in direct talks with Cuban officials. Cuba is a failing nation. It has been for a long time, but now it doesn't have Venezuela to prop it up. So we're talking to the people from Cuba, the highest people in Cuba, to see what happens. I think we're going to make a deal with Cuba. Now, I'm going to make a prediction here that's probably not too hard to do. Cuba's going to fall. Their regime is, but how will they do it? It's not going to require U.S. military intervention. I don't think you're going to be able to bring the Cuban president indicted for drug running or anything like that to the United States like they did with Maduro. But what will happen is the economy of Cuba is so bad. Trump did, by the way, and I quote, on Thursday, asserted that the Cuban government poses an unusual and extraordinary threat to U.S. national security and foreign policy interests. The administration also said it is imposing penalties on any country that sells or supplies oil to Cuba without U.S. authorization. You know what that means? That means Cuba's economy completely collapses, and that means you're going to see Cuban people finally be able to take to the street, and likely the deal being worked out would be that the Cuban government knows it's going to happen, likely knows it's going to happen, and decides to just go away. Now, if that happens, ladies and gentlemen, and I predict that will happen, Cuba will be free. Trump is not going to put up with communists in our hemisphere, particularly 90 miles off our border. Guys, you're going to be taking vacations in Hyatt Regencies on the beautiful beaches of Cuba and smoking all the Cuban cigars you can get your hands on in what probably won't be the too distant future, Andy. We're getting ready to take a break. I want to get your thoughts on that when we come back. And if Cuban cigars aren't your deal, Havana Club rum might be. But Havana Club rum and Cuban cigars go great, particularly when you're on a beautiful beach. And Cuba has some beautiful beaches. We'll talk about it with Andy Hooser when we come back after this break. A lot going on. And also a terrible story out of Gwinnett County, Georgia, not too far from me, the very county that I sued OpenAI in. Just stone's throw away, about an hour, thereabouts. And two cops that it seems to have made a horrible tactical decision that cost one their life and another one fighting for his life. We'll be back.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I've got my Attorneys on Retainer card here. You see it every day if you're watching the show. You hear me talk about it every day. This is an absolute no-brainer, and I'm going to continue to harp on this every single day. If you carry a firearm for self-defense, you carry it for self-defense for a reason, because you think one day you might need it. You know that bad things happen when the criminal decides they happen, not you, which means you want to be ready to react if necessary to save yourself and maybe others. Attorneys on Retainer is here for you after the fact, because you're going to be investigated. No matter what is found, good or bad, you're going to want an attorney in your hip pocket. And Attorneys on Retainer is exactly who you need. This is not an estate planning firm, divorce firm, none of that. It is self-defense law, period. The Attorneys for Freedom law firm. Attorneysonretainer.us. It is $37 a month, the best $37 a month you will ever spend, I promise you. Please visit attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. Watch the videos, read the testimonials, and take advantage of this absolute no-brainer. You will sleep better at night, I can promise you. You'll also sleep better if you have Heaven's Harvest food. You'll sleep better if you're shopping at Bud's Gun Shop. You'll sleep better if you join the National Rifle Association. Pick up something from CAR. Pick up something from Crossbreed. Pick up something from Patriots Relief. And let's not forget, up on the screen, if you're watching it, the QR code is there for your convenience. That's Blackout Coffee. I started my day with it again this morning. Blackoutcoffee.com. Blackoutcoffee.com/AAR. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please support the partners and sponsors that make this show possible every single day. Blackoutcoffee.com. Visit them. And we've got a couple new ones coming up we'll be talking about here in the coming couple of days. But one of them, I've mentioned it before, is Sunday's Bloody Marys. Sunday's Bloody Marys. If you like Bloody Marys like I do, Sunday's Bloody Mary mix is the best. You'll be hearing some rejoins coming in for them in the very, very, very near future. Also, you'll be hearing from Ameripac and all that. That will be going in later today for the remainder of the month of February. So all that information is coming here for you. Andy Hooser, the voice of reason, welcome back in, my brother.
What's up, man?
Well, so real quick, I had a couple, I saw some questions. Somebody asked me what kind of guitar that was behind me here in the studio. That's a Paul Reed Smith PRS S2 Standard 22, and it is absolutely beautiful. If you play guitar and you've never played one of those PRSs, do yourself a solid and pick one up. Easiest, smoothest playing guitars I've ever played. I've got 4 of various models of those guitars. I pick them up more than I do pick up the Gibsons, and I got a Gibson shirt on too. But I also have a PRS shirts and hats and all that fun stuff. Anyway, so I appreciate you asking. A lot of people out there were interested in that. I get that question a lot after the show. Andy Hooser, the voice of reason, Cuba. I want your thoughts on this. You think my prediction is right? It's long overdue. The Cuban people need to be free, brother. They need to be free. It's long overdue in this hemisphere. Imagine what will happen to that economy in Cuba and to those people in Cuba who have been oppressed for so many years when American dollars begin flowing back into that country. It is going to be a godsend for them.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I mean, look, this is not something that I don't think we really anticipated under the Trump administration, but it almost seems like we're winning a potential Cold War. I mean, look, we're ridding our hemisphere of communism and socialism. We're doing it with Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and we did it for the purpose of he was a drug lord, he was a cartel member, he wasn't legitimately elected in that nation, and we need to get Venezuela back on track. And we're doing that by not only removing him, but because of removing him, we're seeing these nations like Russia and China lose influence in our hemisphere, trying to abdicate for this communist movement in the area. The same thing with Cuba. If we get rid of that, look, I mean, these quote unquote socialist vision of universal health care, of this utopian country that's in extreme poverty, but Democrats idolize for some reason and think is such a great system. This stuff is being rid we need to focus on ridding it out of our system here in the United States as well. But outside of that, in just our hemisphere, we're seeing it collapse, and he's doing it very strategically. And we're doing it, by the way, Mark, without actually having to put military boots on the ground and actually doing a full-on takeover. We're just watching it crumble by attacking essentially the Achilles heel, which is their energy market, which is their economy, which is just putting tariffs in, which is just putting blockades in some aspect, and watching how fragile these types of systems really are. And when that does happen, then we can have a way better relationship with them. We can see their economy skyrocket. We can see these people happy again. And because it's happening in our hemisphere, we're going to be in way better shape as a hemisphere and as the United States overall.
The Cuban people are awesome. A friend of mine, and I'm going to mention him now, and I'll mention first and last name, Dan Agramonte. He's been a longtime fan of the show, lives not too far from me here. I've known Dan for many, many years. His mother and father owned, if I remember this correctly, Dan, I'm pretty sure I do, a matchbook factory in Cuba during the revolution. Che Guevara himself rode up onto their property on horseback and took their property, nationalized it, took their factory that they built as entrepreneurs, took it, nationalized it, and moved all the workers into their property home. They were able to flee and get out. Thank God they did. I mean, they have suffered for so long. People forget Cuba was a playground for the rich and famous in the United States of America back prior to the revolution. Think of Ernest Hemingway, right? And the famous bars and all that stuff that he used to frequent when he was in Cuba, and all the like I said, all the musicians and actors and everybody would all hang out down there. It would be wonderful to see that, and to think of what that would do. But the overall geopolitical impact here is just ginormous. Trump is asserting U.S. authority in our hemisphere, get the commies out, and when you consider Cuba and you consider what he's talking about Greenland, it's brilliant. It's utterly brilliant. So good on him. Andy, moving over to a terrible story out of Gwinnett County, Florida. 2 officers were shot 2 days ago, one fatally in an unprovoked attack. And we've only got about a minute here. Guys, I wanted to talk with AAR Hawkins about this last night, but I actually sent him this story when it first broke, and he wrote it. 2 Gwinnett County cops arrived at a Holiday Inn, and they were dispatched to the hotel for a report related to fraud or forgery, and the officers got to a specific room. The guest allegedly the hotel guest invited them in. Once the 2 cops walked inside, 35-year-old Kevin Andrews pulled a handgun and began firing, hit both police officers. One was killed. The other's fighting for his life right now. And I had a conversation with AWR today from a tactical standpoint. I was wondering why the cops went in instead of cuffing him and bringing him out, which to me, I had a hard time with that one, Andy. That seems weird to me, does it not?
Yeah, it seems a little bit out of normal protocol. I mean, I guess it depends on the individual circumstance on what they needed to do. But that's, from what I've heard and from what you kind of pay attention to, that's usually not the way things are done.
It's walking into a kill zone.
Yeah.
And yet again, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of that story is there are bad people everywhere. This happened in a not a bad area. You guys, you got to remember, bad things happen where you live, where you work, where you play. This guy leaves the hotel. He's shopping where you are. He could be standing behind you in a convenience store line while you're, as I always say, picking up a sleeve of peanuts and a Coke. They're there. They live amongst us. Andy, where can people find your program right after this? And I don't know if I gave you any ideas for stories. I hope you're not talking about keistered bombs and dying iguanas.
Not covering those on my show today, although that's probably way more entertaining than what we're going to be talking about. That's right, we just did. Yeah, no, we're in government shutdown, so I'll be focused on that on my program today. And, of course, ICE funding and all the chaos going on with the appropriations process. So I got that, HooserReason.com. It's always fun, Mark, for a Monday especially. There's plenty more to cover, so you'll do it again tomorrow. I'll do it again here in a bit, and we'll just continue on doing our thing and enjoy your warm winter season down south.
It's freezing down here right now. I'm wearing MyPillow slippers.
Like 60 degrees.
Yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, get your MyPillow slippers too. MyPillow.com/AAR. Get the MyPillow slippers. I'm wearing them in the studio. I wear them everywhere I go. Greg wears them too. They're incredibly comfortable, particularly at this time of year, even in Florida where it's cold. Guys, we're going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. Thanks, Andy. That was a lot of fun. Enjoy your day, folks. We'll see you on the radio.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, guys, thanks for jumping in here today. Appreciate it very much. Fun show on a Monday with Andy. It's always fun to start the week off with a little bit of fun stuff, and a couple of those stories were they were just too good to pass up, and it makes for a great Monday. We're going to get up and do it again tomorrow, folks, because they don't want us to. That's why we do it. We have a lot to cover throughout the week. Lee Williams, the gun writer, if everything is on schedule, will be with us. No idea what's going to happen Wednesday, but I'm hopeful, if I can make it happen, to bring Lee Wamsgans in from Patriot Mobile, who just lost that race down in Texas, because that was an important one. There's a lot of implications to that in that district, particularly in that district. This was a state race, a special election. But we'll talk about that and what that might tell us going forward into very critical midterms. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. And you can do that even better if you have this in your hand, attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. Best decision you'll make in a long, long time, I promise you. Enjoy your day, guys. Stay safe. See you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for being here.